high in the sun-drenched hills of Napa Valley, where the vineyards stretch like emerald carpets, stood Harrington Mansion. It was a testament to James Harrington, a tech visionary who'd built his empire on binary code and bold ideas. But success, like a gilded cage, had become his prison. A year prior, a shadow had fallen, a plane crash, a twisted fate, leaving James not broken, but bent. Confined to a wheelchair, his body became a painful echo of what he once was. His spirit, once boundless, had shrunk, leaving a gaping hole where ambition once thrived. He walled himself off, his mansion becoming a sanctuary of self-imposed exile, rejecting all offers of help, his heart heavy as the silence within the cold marble walls. Morning light painted the valley in hues of gold, a beauty that seemed to mock the emptiness James felt. Mr. Peterson, his steadfast butler, a man who had seen empires built and crumbled, knocked gently. Mr. Harrington, his voice calm as a mountain stream, the new nurse has arrived. Miss Elise Carter. James's voice, rough and distant, filled the room. I don't need anyone else. Send her away. But Peterson, having witnessed the depth of James' pain, knew that this was not a request, but a desperate cry. The doctors insist, sir, and I believe, he added, a hint of warmth in his tone. Miss Carter might be different. James turned his chair sharply, the wheels screeching on the polished floor. Fine, he retorted, his eyes dark, but don't expect a welcome. The door opened, and in walked Elise, a splash of color against the grayness of James's world. Her nurse's uniform, crisp and clean, spoke of purpose. Her eyes, the color of a clear summer sky, met his. Good morning, Mr. Harrington, she said, her voice warm but firm. She was not intimidated. She was resolute. James looked at her with a critical gaze, his voice dripping with cynicism. What makes you different from the others? What makes you think you can endure the weight of my anger? Elise's smile was gentle, but held a deep, unshakable conviction. I'm not here to convince you of anything, Mr. Harrington. But whether you cooperate or not, I will be here to help you, to improve your quality of life. James, taken aback by her unflinching resolve, simply smirked. We'll see how long you last. But in the heart of the storm, a flicker of curiosity began to stir within him. Days turned into weeks, a dance of resistance and persistence. James, shrouded in his anger and self-pity, would ridicule Elise's efforts, his words sharp as shards of glass. Do you think these tiny movements can restore what I've lost? It's laughable, he would snap. But Elise, with the patience of a seasoned healer, met his negativity with unwavering calm. It's not about what I think, Mr. Harrington. It's about what you are capable of. She shared stories, personal narratives of overcoming hardship, a window into a world where resilience was not just a word, but a way of life. One day, defeated by his silence, Elise laid her equipment down, her eyes locking with his. You can refuse to try, but know this, you're not alone in this suffering. It's okay to be afraid, but it's not okay to let that fear win. She shared a vulnerable truth about her father's paralysis, a story that echoed in James' own experience, and for the first time, a crack appeared in his hard shell. A slow transformation began. James, with a heavy heart, tentatively agreed to the exercises. Small victories became milestones. He moved his legs just a little, and it was enough. He began to see his life not as a sentence, but as a challenge. Elise, gentle yet firm, pushed him not just physically, but emotionally. She asked him about his dreams, his ambitions, his reasons for building his tech empire. His voice, once filled with cynicism, softened as he spoke of his youthful desire to use technology to improve lives, to create devices that empowered the differently abled, a dream that had been lost in the shadows of ambition. You can still do it, Elise declared, her eyes full of conviction. The question is not can you, but will you face the fear of failing? Her words, gentle yet potent, found a place in his heart, planting seeds of hope he thought were long gone. Yet, the world wasn't ready to celebrate James's quiet victories. His company, sensing his vulnerability, tried to push him out, their doubts amplified by the media's relentless scrutiny. James, in the confines of his study, felt the weight of the world crushing down on him. "They want to take everything," he lashed out, his voice filled with anger. But instead of placating him, Elise met his pain with the truth. "Are you going to let them? Are you ready to throw away everything you built, everything you've dreamed of?" Words, sharp as arrows, were exchanged. James' anger, a volatile storm, drove Elise away. Before leaving, she left a letter on his desk. Sometimes, true strength isn't about conquering everything. It's about daring to stand, even if it's just one small step. The house felt like a tomb, the silence a deafening reminder of her absence. James was now alone, enveloped by regret and a haunting realization of what he had almost lost. In the days that followed, James found solace in the pain of his loneliness. He revisited the letter Elise had left him. The words struck him like a blow. Daring to stand, even if it's just one small step. He realized the truth of her words. He had allowed fear to control him. He had given up before he had even begun. Peterson, the loyal butler, brought him a newspaper article, a retrospective on his life, not highlighting the fame or fortune, but the transformative power of his ideas. James Harrington is not just an innovator, but an inspiration. A man who has shown the world that technology can change lives and even save them. These words awakened a sense of responsibility, a call to action. He returned to the therapy room, this time without the gentle guidance of Elise. Each movement was a struggle, a battle against his body and his self-doubt. But this time, something had shifted. He recalled her words, "No one expects you to be perfect. They just need you to try a little harder each day." The desire to overcome was stronger than his fear. He found the strength to stand on his own, even if for just a second. This was not just a physical achievement. It was a rebirth of his spirit. He began to see his accident not as a tragedy, but as an invitation to create something even more meaningful. Driven by a renewed sense of purpose, James revisited his old ideas, this time with a laser focus on assisting people with disabilities. He reached out to former colleagues, sharing his new vision with passion and determination. He was no longer a shadow of his former self. He was a man reborn, stronger for his scars. His passion had ignited a fire in their hearts, bringing together a team who believed in the impossible. He stood before the world, not as a fallen hero, but as a man who had found his purpose. "A year ago," he said, his voice resonating with a newfound strength, "I thought my life was over. But I realized that not everyone has the chance to stand after a setback. But we can create opportunities so they never have to face it alone." He announced his plans for medical centers, equipped with groundbreaking technologies. His message resonated far beyond the room, igniting a wave of hope. On a quiet morning, Elise received a package. It was from James. A letter, a declaration of purpose and need, not just for her skills, but for her partnership. "This project," he wrote, "cannot be completed without you. You gave me the strength to stand, and I believe together we can change many lives. I don't just need a nurse, I need a partner who understands the heart and mind of this project." Elise's heart filled with emotion. She knew what she had to do. Elise arrived at the new center, and there he was, no longer a recluse, but a man exuding strength and hope. "James," she exclaimed, surprised by his transformation. He smiled, his eyes now filled with gratitude. "Elise, thank you for coming. Seeing you here makes everything feel right again." There were no words of recrimination, just a mutual recognition of growth and change. "I couldn't have done it without you," he confessed. "Every word you spoke, every exercise you led me through, stayed with me. And I need you to help me finish this, not just as a nurse, but as a partner. She accepted, her heart full of emotion. They worked tirelessly, side by side. Elise ensured the devices met the patient's needs, while James focused on technological innovation. Their debates were filled with laughter and purpose. James began to see Elise as not only a collaborator, but as someone with a deep connection to his spirit. Their bond, once just a professional one, grew into something more profound. As they talked under the soft glow of the garden lights, James turned to Elise, his voice sincere. "You didn't just help me walk again, you helped me see the meaning of life." She looked at him with a gentle smile. "James, you did all of this yourself. I only reminded you of what you were capable of." The first medical center opened, a beacon of hope and healing. James, standing beside Elise, announced, "This center is not just a building. It's a reminder that no matter where you are on your journey, there is always hope and people willing to help." His words carried the weight of lived experience, making them even more powerful. His story became a symbol of resilience, inspiring countless others. A year later, at the opening of their second center, a powerful moment unfolded. James, against all odds, stood up from his wheelchair, his movements steady, his spirit radiant. He walked slowly toward Elise, then knelt, his voice trembling with emotion. "Elise, I've always looked for answers, but you are the answer I never knew I needed. Will you marry me?" Tears streamed down Elise's face as she said, "Yes, James, I will." A roar of applause filled the air, a celebration of love, hope, and the power of human resilience. Their wedding, a symbol of their shared journey, took place at the new medical center. James walked down the aisle on his own, a short but meaningful journey that brought tears to the eyes of all who witnessed it. They exchanged their vows surrounded by family, friends, and the patients whose lives had been touched by their shared dedication. Standing on a balcony, watching the laughter and the steps of individuals regaining their mobility, James turned to Elise. "There was a time when I thought my life was over," he said, his voice full of emotion, "but you showed me it was only the beginning." Elise took his hand. "And we will keep building," she added, "not just for others, but for ourselves, too." Their love story had become a symphony of healing, hope, and the enduring power of the human spirit. It was a reminder that the path to true strength is not one walked alone, but one shared with those who can see the potential within us, even when we cannot. Their work became a testament to the value of dedicating a life to others, showing how even the most broken among us can find love and a purpose in giving back to the world. Thank you for listening to this story. What resonated with you the most? Let us know in the comments. What kind of stories would you like to hear next? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that touch your heart and inspire your soul.